Hey yo, what's going on, fellas?
Hey, what's happening?
Yo,
Hey yo, it's another Breaking the Narrative podcast, BTN for short. I'm Tony,
Teddy.
And I'm Mark Anthony.
and today, man, we got a doozy of a question. So, the topic of relationships is like, it's quite overblown on like podcasts and shit like that, but this one has somewhat of like a subtle nuance that kind of like brings a little bit of edge to it. So, the idea is like, which one would you prefer? Would you prefer the longevity category over the fun category in relationships? Explanation. Longevity being marriage, like future building, kids, so on and so forth. Granted, these are all just categories. Don't see it as like the term being the base of what we're talking about. So we're not taking fun out of relationships or anything like that, or taking longevity over just having a good time. No, we're not taking that. So just bear with us. Or would you have the quote unquote fun, which is the frequent dates, the consistent like calls and shit like that, sitting on the phone all hours of the night, or just meeting up every now and then, like having like wild ass sex for no reason and shit like that. Like I get it. Like which one would you rather have as of right now in your life? First, Abe, would you like to bring us in, man?
Yeah, I could. You know, if I was to be so kind, I would take the fun.
Which isn't surprising.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. The frequent dates on the phone, boo loving. You know, doing the grown up. You know what I'm saying? Knocking the boots.
Nigga, why the fuck you have to do that?
What?
Knocking the boots.
Knocking the
doing the
boots.
grown up.
Yeah.
Like, wow, nigga.
Ain't nothing wrong.
Bruh.
Yeah. You
Shut
know what I'm
up,
saying? Hey,
bro.
y'all know about that song. Y'all know it get down, man. Hey. No, I would take the fun. Like, you just describe all that stuff. Why wouldn't I pick that?
See, I get it because it's you. Like, I know you. So, like I said, that is not surprising.
Yeah.
But yeah, you are like more of a fling type of guy as of right now in your current state.
Who doesn't like frequent dates?
I get it, but there has to be some level of balance somewhere.
Does it?
Yeah, because I mean, it can't be just that all the time. There comes a time where all of that doesn't even make its way into your life for a little while. Because there's times where it happens to slow down, and you have to have a foundation to stand on, and that can't be it.
That don't sound too fun.
Of course,
it all depends on what you consider as frequent, though, to the person.
Yeah, like frequent is not necessarily like you're doing it all the time, stuff like that.
Is it once a week?
More like a two or three, maybe three times a week or something like that. It's all of the stuff that you enjoy during like the puppy dog or the puppy love phase and shit. Like the honeymoon phase or whatever shit.
Well,
Whatever.
100% of people like the honeymoon phase.
Yeah, but that doesn't last forever.
It could. You just keep jumping from,
Relationship to relationship, but if you want longevity, then that defeats the purpose. Like with me, I get you. Like you enjoy the idea of just like being out there. It's fun, but when it comes to like people like me, I don't know about Mark. Well, we already know how. Man, he go sway up and down. He won't wait. All of a sudden, like
longevity, and then tell a bunch of stories about the planes.
I might actually surprise you a little bit with my answer.
Well, the longevity thing, if for me personally, I prefer it. Like, I like the idea of being like married. I like the idea of having a wife and kids, having a nice house, or not even a nice. I could literally live in a 1-bedroom apartment with a wife and kids, but be working towards something.
Okay.
So I get it. It's not the ideal situation, but honestly, I prefer the idea of longevity, which makes more sense for me rather than like I'll never down you for your ideas and shit like that because that's just how you feel.
I will hope not.
Of course, nigga. Because like nigga, I done been in that situation before and shit. Like I thought I wanted somebody, but I really didn't. It was just like, man, I don't even think I need this. And then I'm still doing shit that I shouldn't be doing with them. It really.
I mean, all right, so I mean that's like a bad way of looking at it. That's not every situation.
I mean, it's not every
It's a lot of-
situation,
it's a lot of
but
them. Yeah.
that's just that's just how I went through the
Right.
situation you're in, not specifically, but that's just my viewpoint from it.
So don't you have to go through like my phase to get to the longevity thing though? I'm like,
Not necessarily, no.
Isn't that that's like a part of it, right?
I mean, it's not. You don't have to transition from one to the other.
No, I'm just saying, if you choose longevity, wouldn't you have to go through this phase anyway? I'm not choosing longevity regardless, but I'm just saying, like, if you did.
I mean, yeah, it would. You'll definitely have to go through the phase, but I'm not saying like that's the it's the end all be all. I want something more, so longevity would be more of my primary focus rather than the consistent dates, all that other extra shit that comes with it. Besides, like, I'm just too much of a family person. If I'm with if I really see myself trying to date somebody, I would want them to know that I consider starting something with them. I see a future there. Like, that's my biggest thing. I prefer like building a future with somebody.
Okay.
And when it comes to like the fun phase, you're not building a future. You're just existing for the moment until you find something else that you can. Well, until that dies down, and then you find somebody else. Because that doesn't last forever.
It doesn't.
My man got that face. He's just looking at me like, yeah. What else? What else?
I mean, nah, it's true. If you're not looking for longevity, it's just I feel like the longevity thing is like it's like the lottery for real.
Yeah.
Cause like I'm saying, if you shooting for that, you're gonna have to go to the fun stage anyway. Mm-hmm. Like the fun stage is guaranteed. You're guaranteed to have fun.
Well, yeah.
You're not really guaranteed to achieve the longevity.
Well, I get that. That's why I said, like, just take the idea of just like the
Right.
terms fun and longevity, and just use them as just like regular terms, and not necessarily as the basis of what you're going to be getting out of the relationship.
Okay, got you.
Like, just see them as like categories.
Yeah, I signed up for fun. Life is hard, man.
I get it.
You deserve some fun.
I get it. Like you done been through the ringer, my nigga. I understand.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Fuck that.
It's okay, bro.
Go ahead and let Playboy Mark talk, man.
Of course, man. You see my man sitting over there cool and shit.
To be honest with you, mine is a bit of a hybrid answer. Go figure.
Nope, can't have a hybrid answer. Nope, not allowed.
No, allow me to elaborate though. Now, honestly, just like what you said before, I prefer the longevity for the relationship. Granted that this would be with somebody that really, is the person that I went into that whole process with from the get-go. Because, people change. Sometimes relationships change over time as well. So, when it comes to the legal matters of marriage and everything like that, it's the matter of if that even, the same chemistry lasts long enough to even withstand all of that. Yeah. Now, when you started naming off some of the things in the category of the fun phase, such as, the sex or whatever, the dating, honestly, I do believe that you can even incorporate that for the long-term relationship. So it's just a matter of how you make this longevity even last. Now, but if you were sitting there talking about just like, well, all right, cool, I did that with one person and I'm going to go on to the next person, then that's why I would cut it out. I'm like, all right, you know what? For all that, it's just going to bring me back to one person. It's either I'm going to be like, I'd rather do this with one person because one, everybody might not be about that. Or two, if you are doing that with one person, you might as well just make that a committed long-term relationship.
Wow.
Because the thing is, it's the same thing except just different labels.
Right.
So it's just like, you want the frequent sex or this, that, and the third. The only difference is that there is no tides to it. And it all depends on how you and your partner will look at it. Like, oh, if I really wanted to be truly committed and make myself exclusive to this person, then here's the marriage ordeal.
I mean, sometimes you just want different. Like if I go to the store right now, and I've been buying like barbecue Pringles all week. Today I might want sour cream and onion. I think just want different.
I mean, so basically, you just want it so you can have the free range to have the variety of things.
Exactly.
Okay, I mean,
I had to use food to explain
and-
it, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
to each their own.
Yeah,
Me
yeah,
personally,
yeah.
it's like now I'm at the point where it's like where the premise I want is to make sure that I'm not one wasting my time, and two, I would like to have something afterwards. Eventually, as I pass on, you know, I want someone who hopefully is the right woman I have children with, and so on and so forth.
Right.
Because I want to build legacies and empires, you know, from myself from the ground up with this particular person as well. You know, you're not gonna get that all the time with just having fun. Sometimes that just having fun is one of those people who might even want to be like, all right, cool, I want to partake and then leave. So me personally, I don't have time for that. Now, do I like to have the fun with the sex? Oh yeah, keep it spicy all the time. Shit, I believe that's also how you can, you know, go long ways within your marriage. And then the frequent dates, shit, ain't nothing wrong with having a date night with the person you married. Oh, let's go on a date night. Or if you don't have, especially if you don't have children, oh yeah, let's go do this, let's go do that. You know, let's go do something different. Hell, or if you that damn creative, do it at home. It's long and hopefully, and that they'll appreciate. But yeah, I'd rather do things for the long haul because it's literally that's just who I am. I am predominantly a person that sticks to one person, even in the dating phase. Honestly, I don't like entertaining multiple people at the same time. To me, it gets messy, and two, it's like what for? Like you're also inviting other people to possibly, because one, the dating phase is not always going to be something it's not going to be perfect. It's a phase that literally makes to see if the chemistry works. Why would I want to invite multiple people at the same time? That could possibly aggravate me. That's like adding several stacks of paperwork willingly on my desk. Nah, let me take care of this one at a time to do this, that, and the third. And then, I mean, of course, some people like, you know what, I can manage that. I can go ahead, have fun with that. Or some people might require less maintenance than the other. Sure. To me personally, the percentage of a lot of people doing that though, and them actually having something more exclusive for one than the other gets quite high.
right.
So then there's going to be some commitment somewhere. So, you know, and then eventually it turns into something else. And it's like, well, for certain things that you're going to deal with, you might as well make it committed because it's, to me, and some people may hate me for what it is that I'm about to say,
Somebody's
but
gonna hate you for it.
it's, no, because some people might take it the wrong way, but it's like, it's an investment. Would you invest in your time and your money and your effort, you know, your mental, your emotions? All of that is an investment. So it's like, what you going to invest it to? Like, you're doing all this to build a foundation. Unless you're really going to run into somebody that you know for a fact that you're not going to catch feelings with, which is never a guarantee, and then they don't care, and they know, you know, that they super clean and they safe to deal with, you're not going to run into somebody who's going to just hand that off to you without putting some type of work in. Not too often. If you do, there's going to be other things for you to worry about because you're playing with somebody who's in a risky game.
Yeah.
So, me personally, just to go ahead and play it safe, but also still try to have the benefit out of it and make sure you're actually going somewhere. Of course, I'm going to try to present, you know, a relationship for longevity, or at least I'm going to tell them that's what my intentions are. But again, it all depends on who it is that you're dealing
So
with.
basically, you lying there.
No.
Okay.
I'm telling them straight up what it is. I'm telling them straight up what it is that I want and what I'm trying to go for and everything. Of course, you're going to try to receive these things and down the line. That's the whole point. You know that it's supposed to be going somewhere. Well, yeah, it's not at 100% guarantee even with longevity relationships either. You never know where it's going to go.
No, it's all gonna be a risk.
But, you know, for me, there is the end goal instead of just aimlessly doing these things. And it's like been there, done that. Sometimes it get tiresome for other people. Sometimes people just like, you know, what the fuck am I doing? So, you know, me, I just want to know that it's going somewhere. Because eventually, as I solidify that and secure that, I still have other things I'm going to do in my life anyway, instead of trying to chase after who's going to be the next one that's going to keep my interest.
Right.
So that's where I'm at with mine's. Like, that's why I say it's like a bit of a hybrid answer. I get it. The fun times must roll, but you can still have the fun times in a long,
my new phrase going into 2023. Let the good times roll.
I understand where Mark coming from, but the whole time, like, I guess as of right now, I guess you didn't understand like the idea of where I was going with the fun versus longevity.
Yeah, because he definitely cheated.
Yeah, he did. Because
that thought literally came up
Yeah.
as you were breaking it down for certain things for two different categories. I was like,
You just cover both bases.
I was just like, damn. Now it made, because at first I had my answer solid, and then when you broke it down like that, I was like, shit, damn. Like, what is my answer now?
yeah,
Like,
because the thing is, it wasn't really meant to be just. It was supposed to be an either or, but that didn't mean that you're giving up one for the other. One is still going to exist within both scenarios. However, one is more prominent. Which one is the primary focus?
yeah, well, yeah. If you're going focus based, then yes, it's going to be the longevity. But given the certain circumstances for certain people, it's almost the inevitable. Like me, for example, I would like to go for the longevity thing, but here it is. I'm still single, so I have to play this game of cat and mouse of trying to find this person by default.
You
because
don't have to.
I mean, but
Mike doesn't play that game.
But how else am I going to find that person? Like, I have to allow myself to be within that field in order to meet people.
So you've been deceitful then.
No, not being deceitful. Like,
You're
I'm not.
deceitful.
I'm like literally.
You a wolf dressed up as a sheep.
I have no, not even that. I'm coming as I am. It's just the fact that literally I have to be. When I say play this game, I literally have to be present in the sport itself, because it's just like, damn, I want to be taken off of the market, but I haven't found the one who's right for me. So here it is. I still got to keep going. I still got to go.
Keep going what?
I still got to keep going and meeting people and finding out who's right for me.
Having fun, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like eventually, like, either or will end up being inevitable for certain people. Right now, it's an inevitable. It's the inevitable
I was saying earlier,
that I have to do this thing.
The fun
now,
side is inevitable. The longevity thing is not inevitable.
Now, granted, certain things on the fun side I prefer not to do until I have something that's more foundational.
There you go.
But other than that, like I said, it's inevitable. You still have to do. You can't, honestly, for the longevity, you can't do
what's on the fun
one
side
thing without the
that you
other.
prefer, that you don't want to do.
Like, honestly, I want to be able to do things without
Don't say
just having.
sex.
That's the part.
Yeah.
That's the part.
Come on, man.
I gotta be more careful. And now, like, to be transparent, of course I want it, but at the same time, like, I gotta be respectful to myself, and of course, in addition to being respectful to the other person, to just be like, dog, like, I'm not just gonna do this willy nilly. If I'm gonna keep doing this with you over and over and over again, I might as well be in a committed relationship with you.
I mean, why does that mean that though? Like, what do you mean you might as well?
Dog, why am I gonna continue to go out my way to have sex with a person
Because it's fun.
just because it's fun? Shit, like, and suppose if I'm having sex with somebody that I really don't have no good chemistry with, for real.
Okay.
Why? Like, I can, first and foremost, most of my sex is more than just physical. There's mental into it as well. Like, dog, you're not gonna keep me invested in it for too long, because then eventually I'm gonna realize, like, who it is I'm having sex with, and then
what you gonna do? You gonna go on to the next, right?
Yeah, bro.
Exactly.
And it's just like,
Exactly.
and that's typically, it's not me. It's like, I want to, when I do that with a person, I want to be able to, have something long term. I don't want to
keep
just
saying that, but you're not doing that though.
Yeah. So eventually, it's just getting to a point, like, bro, like, before I even really have sex with you or anything like that, now I need to make sure and see how official this really is, like how solid this is, because, how do we handle the hard times? Because of course it's easy to roll with the fun times and the good times or whatever. It's easy, and then I'm not gonna force a bad time to happen, but I gotta know.
That's the vibes I'm picking up right now.
I got
setting traps.
I'm gonna be chilling. I'm gonna be
You just
chilling.
activated my trap card.
I'm gonna be chilling, but at the same time, bro, like, when something bad happens, I need to know that this ain't gonna be a huge issue for you, because I have experienced that. everything seemed to be pretty good, and then next thing you know, it's just like somebody had some particular kind of issue. All right, cool, let's talk about it, and then find out that the communication was some shit. So it's just like, bro, and it started to become a constant thing. It was just like, all right, well, this is not really working. So how do we even take step forward? It's like, do I even want to continue to have this quote unquote fun with you when it's not even fun? Because now I can't even talk to you without feeling like agitated about a lot of shit. Like your vibe is off. So it's not fun. Shit, it's not even fun taking a trip to come see you. So, you know, that's where it's just like, bro, like it all depends on who, you know, what is it I'm dealing with.
That don't count though, because that's not what he described as the fun side. He didn't mention none of that. Like that's not fun.
I mean, at this point, there's like, so
like Bird's trying to bring shade to the fun side.
For me, at this point, like the only way to probably be quote unquote fun is like literally if you're just having a one night stand every single day, and there's no guarantee that
that's
those
the only way. That's the only way
because
it's fun to you.
You're gonna have to, bro, because it's like, dog,
That's
why
crazy.
am I gonna keep putting why am I gonna keep putting time into you for what? Like, especially if your intention is not to be committed, then why am I gonna keep putting time into you? Why?
It's fun.
That's his answer for
Like,
everything,
dog.
dog.
Like, yeah, exactly. It's just like,
fun.
so all right. So eventually, like, so do you think that there's going to be a point? Well, have you ever had sex with a female to a point where she wanted absolutely nothing from you but that?
Yeah,
You're a lucky dude.
He's okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, obviously, it's easy to be okay with that because if it's required, is sex. That's for him. But also, again, if I'm putting all this time into you, if I gotta come and see you or whatever, you know, I'm investing something somehow.
Yeah,
And
that's the reward. That's the payout.
and so,
But like again,
but it doesn't last forever for you.
You're prefacing everything to sex. It don't have to be just sex though. He said frequent dates. You know what I'm saying? Like
You can even still do that in
just thinking like the
committed
cupcake phase
relationship.
and all of that goes into that, and then
yeah, he got the name in 3-4. He said you sitting around on the phone all day. I'm like, shit.
You can still
I remember
do that.
that. Sign me back.
unless you married and living in the same house or whatever, like you can still do that in a committed relationship.
But you can't.
Why not?
It's a lot of things that go into.
That's
like,
why a lot of relationships probably falter.
No, but
You talking about like you in a committed relationship and you laid up on the phone with another girl?
no, he talking about actually being in the house with that same person now.
Like unless you were living with that person that you were on the phone with,
Right.
like you can still, you know, if y'all in your own place, I can still be talking up on the phone and stuff like that from time to time.
No, that's not. I mean, I was about to say it's not fun. That is fun. What I'm saying is that it's 7 days out the week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who I talk to Monday, I don't have to talk to Tuesday. I don't have to talk to Wednesday. 7 days out the week, I can talk to 7 different girls if I want to. That's 7 different personalities, 7 different good times.
Yo, I love this dude, bro. I love this dude,
Man, he
bro.
ain't even playing by the law of averages, bro. He's just
No,
going
he
straight for
doesn't play
numbers.
by average. Like this nigga
he
has,
just goes straight for numbers, man.
I do 5 days out the week. Is that better? Now I've had stretches where I literally talk to 5 different girls Monday through Friday.
That's like I commend you for being able to put up with that for that long, because that couldn't have been me.
I'm programmed.
And every single one of them is just like literally passively like
It's
you
no,
don't.
no,
you,
it's not,
I
it's
don't
not.
require nothing.
It's not.
Like it's just that simple.
You grow into that. Now, I mean, to get to that level, like you said, you're gonna have to put in work and invest.
Exactly.
But then once you get to that level, it's like the responsibility drops, and it's just like, okay, this is what we're doing. That's all that needs to be done.
To me, if I was to be that type of person, bro, it's just like
You are. Like, you
if I'm doing that, if I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna talk to Monday and Tuesday, they straight. Come Wednesday, man, you know what? Wednesday, she just ain't getting it right now.
Yeah.
And it's been months. It's
Put
been
the whole
it's,
warning sign
it's
up. I
been
need a new
it's
win.
been 5 months.
Wow, nigga.
I've been putting in work for 5 months on Wednesday, man, and she just not getting it. And then next thing you know, you realize she's not gonna get it.
Right.
And it's just like,
but
dog.
the thing is,
and
because you got
you've already
Monday,
invested
because
so
you
much
got
into
Monday
it.
and Tuesday, Now that Wednesday not
to me,
getting
that's
it,
just
it
going in
lessens
and investing and wasting so much time knowingly. With the possibility is like, because honestly, it's one thing to be like, all right, cool. Well, your premise with that is, okay, eventually she's gonna be on board for everything of how I operate.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
That's literally
That's what you're
the true reward.
Right.
But it's no guarantee that will happen. But you're already going in knowingly like, yo, I'm only doing this for a fun time.
Nothing is guaranteed.
Not to build something foundational, but
Right.
only for a fun time.
Right. Like, Mike, how many times?
Who I may
how
replace
many times
anyway if things still go right, because I might just get bored. So it's just like,
that's a possibility too. How many times have I told you how long I've been trying to talk to a chick, and you'll be like, "Damn, that's a couple of years. That's crazy." And I'll be like, "What's the first thing I say?" Is like, "Well, I'm talking to other females, so while I'm working on that."
Like this nigga literally has backup plans. Like that's just his stick. That's what he does.
Because if like I said, I was programmed, bro.
Hmm?
If you grew up around here, you'd definitely been the same way, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
look.
You grew up in Floresville, you been the same way.
my terms of on
Well,
to the next one is
I
like
grew up
literally if the
before,
chemistry
so
I'm
don't
talking
work
about this
out.
side of Floresville. Toxic, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like,
Try to take in the turtles and then, I'm talking about that kind of.
shut up, bro. Yeah, bro. I kind of get like both sides and shit, like but I would never.
I'm not disagreeing with him though.
Yeah, I'm not-
I want that side.
Yeah, but I honestly know the reason why you're shying away from that side, and it's because you have so many of the fun side women on like the longevity side of the fence. Like,
I mean, but that's you can't control that. That's out of your control.
yeah, because the thing is, yeah, because you got it's the people like some of the females you was talking to, they're in relationships and they don't care about the dudes they fucking around with, so they fuck around with everybody.
Right.
So it's just like,
So
yeah, you.
and that's what I was saying earlier. So it's like when he says an investment, I'm like, that's the payout because it's like chicks. I'm not gonna name no names because I don't want to get nobody in trouble. But when we always link up, it's a particular female that calls nonstop. Correct? Both of y'all done mentioned the name plenty of times before.
Oh, okay.
Or
I had to think about that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like that started all as fun times. It still is fun times. That's not her, but
I was gonna say there she go.
that's fun times.
Say my
Yeah, that's fun times. But we've been having fun times for the past decade. So it's like there's longevity on the fun side too.
It's just no
Commitment.
it's no commitment
For
and
me.
building from that.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be. Because what is she like? I don't need you to bring. Perfect example, right? Remember we was texting last week, and when you first made the post about you losing 100 pounds, and I was congratulating you through the message and stuff like that, and we was talking about the content,
Mm-hmm.
and you were saying I was a heavy lifter, right? When you're the heavy lifter, you don't need anybody to bring a lot to the table.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't need them to bring a lot to the table. If all you got is what's your body, and it's a nice one. That's good enough. Bring it.
Hey,
Like I said the motto again, or y'all sick of the phrase yet? Let the good times roll. You know what I'm saying? Let the good times roll.
just get the shirt made, man.
Yeah,
Like you was like a Hot Wheels car and shit. Let the good times
Let the
roll.
good times roll. Hot Wheels leading the way.
Wow, nigga, bro. But I respect y'all answers, like for real.
Yeah.
But like I said, bro, with me, I would definitely prefer the longevity portion.
Of course.
Like, and I know, like, you know me, I don't even exist in that, in like the fun field at all. Whereas Marcus kind of like stretches the truth into one side or the other.
Don't get fooled. Mark's on the fun side.
Yeah.
You can talk that longevity shit if you want to.
Yeah.
Mark's on the fun side.
But you don't even see me even go anywhere close to the fun.
That's how I know that's the measuring stick of how I know he's on the fun side. Because there's me and there's you, and he's way closer to me than he is to you. That's how he's on the fun side. Bro,
I never thought of it that way.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro. Like everything I do is like analytical, bro. Like I'm on the fun side. He's not on the fun side. He's telling way more stories that I relate to than you.
That's not my fault.
It is
You and I got stories
Is it not
to
you
tell.
doing it?
It's not my fault. It's me living my life. I'm not literally like
Right,
worried, like,
exactly.
oh, I'm gonna just go do this and I'm gonna go do that. And,
No, yeah, just keep letting him talk. It's gonna come
yes,
out. It's gonna come out now. Look.
Yes, I have opportunities to live a timeline or a story to live a storyline, sure. And some storylines I pick up on, some storylines I don't.
It's like every topic.
But am I doing it just for the hell of, just for the sake of it? Fuck no.
Every topic
'Cause
he
I ain't got time like
tries
that no
hardest
more.
to be politically correct, and then it's like
not
he
even
just
being politically.
he just
I
explode and the truth come out.
I literally try to go for the good time to have a long term
Fucker,
relationship.
you caught me.
I
That's
slipped and
literally
fell
what I go
into
for.
it, Your Honor. It wasn't me.
Now, do I have I've had some short fun time experiences? Absolutely. For ones that literally I purposefully went for that, and then there's the ones that literally had turned into that because shit really didn't work out for what was intended to be a long term joint. So, I mean, yeah, that's how I got these stories. Now I'm just like, damn, bro, like I really wanted this to last, and it's just like it can't. Because either I got forced out, or they got forced out, or we just be like, you know what, man, this really not gonna work.
So you accidentally fell on the fun side?
It's the inevitable. Like I said, I ain't got no choice but to be in this field right now.
You have a choice.
To
Yeah,
continue.
I have
It's
a
either-
choice.
It's
I
either,
don't do it.
it's either that
Like I
or be
said, that's
alone
what I
for the
look
rest
at.
of my life. Like,
He's making a conscious decision to be on the other side. So when
so that
somebody,
means he choose not to date.
I mean,
Because that's the only way you're really not going to that you are not 100% not going to do it. Is
But I've
you
had
choose
offers
not to.
before and I denied them and all that other shit. But it's just like, bro.
Okay, yeah, but
he's not over here talking about, well,
Granted, if you
it's
find
inevitable. Let me do it.
granted that if you find somebody who's suitable for you, then you would.
No, it's for the longevity.
Yeah, he's literally going to start dating to find that out.
Right.
That's literally, and that's part of the fun phase is like dating and all this other stuff. Now, would he have sex with that person? Probably not. But the dating part and all that, he's going to do that to see if that really works. He's going to be like, you know what, you seem suitable. Let's go ahead and put some time into this to see if this really works out, and time will tell. And then granted that if it does, and he's like, you know what, I could consider like really go and take these steps forward with you. Let's try to take this even longer. But right now, I'm assuming that these denials that he denies these certain people is because he already sees and feels that they're not suitable for him.
Okay.
Ergo, with me, I'm not going to figure that out unless I start the process. So I'm not going to say, nah, I'm not going to date. No, I'm available to date because I'm single. I'm available to date because literally I haven't found that one yet or anything like that. So when I find that one, all right, cool, I'm going to try to lock that down, try to have that focus on them and everything. Hopefully this goes well because I would like to do this for the long term, especially if they agree, and then we go for that. But in somewhere between that and finds out that we're not working out and it's actually getting dire to a point where it's unhealthy, it's really not going to work, or we just lying to each other, trying to give ourselves the false hope that it's really going to work and we know it's not, then that's when it falls off and it's like, damn, well, by my lonesome again. So now I gotta go ahead and start with this other next potential person when they come along in life.
Mm-hmm.
However long that takes.
I have a question. Like your last kind of serious dating situation, how long did it take for you to get the cheeks, man?
Not long at all.
God damn. Move kind of quickly there.
Yeah. And I actually, I feel bad about it.
Damn, my nigga. Hey, yo. That was very nonchalant of you. Like, my man is, it's not that long, man.
It's the truth. Like, I don't know how would you want me to say it, but it's the truth. Like,
my man's
yeah, throwing it out there. It's the truth. Like it didn't really take that long, and it was a lot longer to most others nowadays. But no, it was a short span for me, and you know, it's just like after it was done over time, it's just like, bro, like really. Now, don't get me wrong, I want to, but I actually wanted to exhibit other stuff first before that even happened.
But did you ever get a chance to do that beforehand?
To exhibit like the more foundational
Yeah,
things.
like how much did you learn about that person before you went into the whole, oh yeah, I'm about to get the cheeks?
Not that much. Like
There you go.
literally, like
That's
that's
Abe right there.
and that's what I was saying. Like the fun times is always going to be there, and it's easy to do things on the fun times, but you also want to see the bad stuff happen too.
Why?
And then and that's why like I've always had this mindset now for at least the past few years. Like you really want to allow time to figure that shit out for you. And there's some people like literally like now that I find out that they can't even respect. I'm like, oh, all right, cool, bet. Then really, you not the one for me. Like you want what you want, because like eventually, it's kind of like the process where somebody's going to get tired of waiting or something, and then their true colors will show because you allow them to, fester a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so the truth starts to come out a little bit from time to time. So it's just like, all right, bet. So that's why I do that. Instead of just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep going on the fun times, on the fun times, on the fun times, and then whatever builds up from that, or whatever possibility can come from that. But I'm only relying on just the fun times. It's not. If something was to go down, and I would have to say, well, what was this for? Oh, a fun time. It's not worth it to me. But if it was like, well, I actually had intentions of this going somewhere and being foundational, then it's a little bit more on the table for me to fight for, or deal with, or go through whatever it is I got to go through for, because I was actually taking it seriously. Otherwise than that, why am I going to invest this time, this energy, and this effort for something that really I'm careless for, because it's just like, oh, it's just a fun time, which fun times will be everywhere if that's the case. So when it came to that, I was just like, yo, I kind of feel bad, man, because like I wanted to employ certain other things, and even time that there were certain things that was brought up, like, yeah, we started out this way and then that way, and so like, see, and honestly, it shouldn't have happened that way. It should have actually been something else. And now it's kind of like, damn, man, I kind of wish I waited a little bit longer to experience what it is that I'm experiencing now, because I guarantee you, it probably wouldn't have happened at all if this was the case.
But granted, it did happen though.
Yeah.
So it's another notch on the belt. So the way we say,
to be honest with you, I don't even like to do the whole notch on the
No,
belt
but the thing is,
but this is not a notch that I'm proud of.
But we do
either.
the same thing with women though. Like we'll say, like, doesn't matter who you fuck, you can't unfuck them.
Yeah.
That's just how it works. That's a body.
Yeah. So I mean, to be truthful with it, yeah, that is out. That's that.
Yeah, it happened.
But it's
so
just something I always
accepted.
like go like, oh, talk about. Nah, I ain't gonna talk about it like it's a trophy, bro. Because it's just like I said, man. Honestly, that wasn't the best thing for me. I honestly, I was like really careless at that moment. I literally said what I said. That proves that I was just careless. I said I don't care, and it went from there.
I mean, you can you can reflect on the situations that you've been in, but that doesn't negate the situation from actually
that's
happening.
just an experience for me to take from there. Like, bro, do better. Like, I was already better before then, but like I said, I literally just got careless. I was just like, all right, whatever. Because I had the strength in me, enough strength in me to be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah,
and I just got irresponsible.
The whole time, hey, like how many times have you like looked at yourself? He's like, man, I shouldn't have really fucked with that jump, and then it's still a fucking body though, and then you.
Not only that, but you end up fucking with him again.
Well, in his case, he probably doesn't, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. It's
smart. I ain't gonna lie to you. There have been some joints I really wanted to get into it with, like in the fun way, and I would like after some time, I was just like, damn, I'm glad I didn't. Like, who would have fucking knew? Like, damn, I did not expect that, and I'm glad I missed that opportunity. or I didn't even take the. Or I'm glad I didn't take the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean it's quite a shame, unfortunately, but at the end of the day, bro, still a body, nonetheless.
Still have fun.
Yeah. Me, on the other hand, yeah, I still like this man made like the perfect analogy and shit. It's like, bro, you look at your situation and you look at mine. It's like yeah, he falls pretty much in the middle, but leans more towards like your side. And it makes. I mean, I get it. Like your situations are more. It's like it happened, but again, it still happened.
Yeah, it happened. It was just unintentional. It was against.
It
the
doesn't
plan,
matter
but-
how intentional or unintentional it was. Like you can't,
It happened.
you can't
No,
deny that
definitely
it happened.
It definitely happened. I'm just
Yeah,
saying. I just need for certain people to understand,
so-
especially Ave. It's not
So-
intentional.
but it falls- it's
because
still- we-
Ave is intentionally on the fun side.
Yeah, but you can't just trip and fall into the fun phase,
That's what I'm
bro.
saying. Like, bro, you over here too, bro. Like, I don't. Like, that's what I'm about to start doing. I'm about to start having fun and just be like, well, I mean, I'm not trying to do this.
Man, I'm trying to get out of here.
It's not
man.
what I
I'm
want.
trying-
You know what I'm saying?
I want to be better.
Look,
Because look, there's the ones who be like, man, dog, I just be smashing all them joints, man. I just, for some reason, I just can't stop, man. I want to stop, but I can't stop.
My man sound
And then there's the
reformed.
ones who's like, yo, I literally like I had something with this lady, and then that didn't work out. So here it is. I am with this new lady. Yeah, I am with somebody new, maybe like a month or a year down the line or something like that. So it's just like, I wish the last one before it worked out, but it didn't. So it sucks. So like, what am I going to do? Be by myself for the rest of my life? And then like I said, there's the guy before him who's just like, dog, I just want to smash them all. I wish I want to stop, but I can't.
Like you probably at this point,
Like-
you speaking of like both sides of yourself and shit.
I mean, that first dude definitely existed many years ago.
still do.
Not at all. I get bored. I'll get bored with the whole just. I literally, it's something. Now,
So your
there's
all right,
something
so
in
your
me
preference
now
is you're
that I
gonna
can
do
find
all
that
the stuff
spicy
on the
stuff.
fun side and just say it's not fun.
No,
So you
I
won't
want to
get-
find that in
You
one
won't get in
person.
trouble for it.
If I get that one person who can continuously do that and have that weird, it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's something that literally like that triggers in my mind. It's like, yo, like this one committed person right here, bro, and she mine and all that, and then we doing all like.
I get it. I see what it is now. Now I know how to act.
I'm like,
now.
dog, like now it's
Man,
just
taking
like
tips?
like now it's like, man, that she for me, and then I'm for her, and all that, and like now I know I get to go back to that, and then she come like just having that, and just knowing that it's gonna be mine, yeah, that part, the committed. It's just something about that.
I mean,
opposed to just like, yo, I want to smash that one, I want to smash that. And I ain't gonna lie.
What you doing?
Yeah,
then?
it's one thing
But
to
there's
just say it.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
but
not just.
actually
I'm not going out just each and every day or every other month or whatever. Just like I'm gonna just smash this joint, then I'm gonna just smash that joint. No, it's like literally. I want to have something foundational. Hey, yo, like this is what my intentions is, and then we try to go from there. Now, there's literally people who are going out here just like, dog, I want to smash this one. All right, cool. Now that I did that, there go another one. Now, granted, I'm not.
You
gonna
just
say-
describe Eve.
No, I'm not going to say. No, I'm not going to say that. Like I haven't looked. I'm like, dang, yo, she got a nice body or some such. I do, but I'm like trying to think of long term. Like, where is this going to go? Is this going to be just nothing but a fun time? Because that's probably what she about, and
Right.
that's probably also all she going to indulge in me, and I'm like, I could, but why?
And then
Just-
and then you proceed to do it.
No,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like I
Yeah,
mean, it's
but
just
it
like
happens.
it's like over that, and especially me, I'm a person who's conscious to the idea now. Like, dog, like one of us end up getting caught up, and I don't even want to take the risk of that, especially for a one night stand. Nah, man, like it's just there's so much that can come from a one night stand. You either get an STD, she'll probably get caught up, you probably get caught up, or whatever. Like something, it's just too much of a risk factor to me that I'm conscious and aware of. So I don't even want to take that risk. Like I said, if I'm going to invest anything, mind, body, spirit, or whatever, even money, I want to make sure it's going somewhere foundational. I want to build something. Shit, that's like literally throwing monies at strippers and just hoping that you're gonna have the best time when it literally that's gonna last for one night, and then you gotta go back and be like, damn, now I gotta wait for my next check. Now I gotta wait for my check to come back in so I can replace what I just threw out.
I mean, that's for strippers though. All
Like,
females don't want money.
and not bashing the strippers or anything like that, because look, you know, y'all gotta make your money too or whatever. But
all females don't want money though. What if the key to having sex with a girl was just paying money?
And I'm not gonna lie to you. What I just said, literally, I felt there was a time I was just like, bro, why did I even do that? This could have went to somewhere else.
And then you proceeded to do it again.
Yeah. It's one thing to learn from your mistakes.
After that one deep thought, I was just like, bro, I can't bring myself to do it again, bro. Because like now I got to go through the bullshit at work to try to replenish what it is I just threw.
But what if she don't want money? That's what I'm saying. What if
a stripper? If you're at a strip club?
It doesn't have to be a stripper. Like, you're not just having fun with all strippers.
No, I was using that as an analogy, not literally, but, you know, like, that could be one of the things where, you know, you want to go out, you want to continue to go on frequent dates and shit like that. Money, you're spending money. You're spending money to even get to these places, whether you're in your own vehicle, taking public transportation or whatever. A shorty want to get flown out maybe, or you're putting something into that.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's work. You're putting in work to something that
what you're gonna do. You're gonna do regardless.
You either know it's not gonna last long, or intentionally you're gonna make sure it doesn't last long because you're gonna want to go to the next one. I mean, if you got time like that, Abe, go for it, yo. That's you.
I mean, the thing is, it's everybody, because it's like,
I mean, and everybody does have to indulge in that at some point, because like,
exactly.
In order to even get to the long game, you have to start.
No, I'm talking about. I'm not. Before you even talk about, I'm talking about like the investing part, like, because if you picking at that scenario, I could easily rebuttal you and say, like, when you go to the club and lounges, right? Why do you drink?
To have fun.
To get buzzed and have fun.
Yeah.
It's not going to last forever, right?
Yeah. It with me specifically.
See where I'm going?
It loosens me up. It allows me to shields down for that.
It's not going to last forever. You done put your time into it. You're going to have to wait till you get paid again to be able to afford more drinks. But somehow, some way, the next time you go back up to the club, what you going to do?
Same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so I'm like, people going to invest anyway. Because if you don't go hang out with that girl, what you going to do? You're going to go to the club probably. So you're spending money on the club. You're going to eat. You're going to drink. Because I don't do that, like I was telling Abe earlier, I don't smoke and drink. So the money's just going technically elsewhere, if that was the scenario. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, no matter who you are, if you have resources, odds are you're not just sitting on them.
Yeah, I mean,
you're using them to your advantage.
Chances is it's gonna go into me for something that I really know for a fact that I'm gonna go to enjoy. Because like me, that's all. Honestly, because like, when it comes to me, like especially for the whole club thing, I don't do it unless I'm going with others, and that's really what brings me to go on the clubs. It's the people I'm going with.
No, it ain't about you going to the. I'm just saying that's the example that I'm using.
But as far as the money going into investment for certain stuff, like if I was to not invest that money or time or whatever into that person, that of course can go into myself to something I know for a fact that could stick.
Liquor.
No, not even liquor. Shit, like the time.
I don't know about you, Mike, but I rather have money. I rather have a woman over liquor.
The time, because really the only time I'm a social drinker, like you really won't see me drinking like that unless I'm like going out to go do social things, like such as going to the club or whatever. And the only reason why I'll do that is because it brings my.
I'm not knocking you for going to the club. I use that as an example, bro. Like
when it comes to time and investment of anything else, for me, I sitting at home or whatever, or like I said, like whatever this money is going to go to for a different day, that either I know for a fact I'm going to have fun with. Right. For like a video game, for example, or something that's going to go into something that's going to last longer.
But somehow, some way, a female just doesn't fall into the category.
You're gonna have to be there, like more than just
the 2 weeks. The liquor is only there for one night.
You're gonna have to be there for 2 weeks.
So you're spending more money on liquor than you probably would on a female, and the liquor's only getting drunk. You pissing that right out the next morning.
Never spending more money on liquor than I would a female.
Well, honestly, like I look at it this
Especially-
way. No. I look at it this way. Like, if you're really like fully invested in the idea of longevity, you have to learn to abstain from one, at least. Because I mean, at this point, he's abstaining from longevity purposely. So that puts him on the spectrum of, you know what? I prefer the fun. I'm abstaining from the fun, which puts me in the idea of I'm preferring longevity, so it makes more sense for me later on, so I don't have to continuously go into the idea of, damn, I have to find out what this person is like, what this person is like, what this person is like. With me abstaining from that, I pretty much bought myself so much time to where I can easily like pay attention to somebody's mannerisms or the way that they act, and I won't even need for them to talk to me. That's the thing. Like, when you're fully like locked in to the idea of longevity, like anything that clicks in your head, because me and Aiden had this conversation before. Like one of the ones that was like giving me the idea of like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna try and give you some and all that shit. We immediately even the like beforehand in that situation, we had a conversation where I was giving him all the red flags she was giving me before I even got a chance to even get that message of like, you know what, yeah, if I try to give you something, like, would you be okay with it? Like, no. And this is why. Like, I didn't give her the reasons as to why, but I told her I didn't even give her a direct no, because I didn't want it to go into one of those I hate you type of things, but I still would not even entertain the idea. So I was like, I have no idea what the future holds or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is, we're still friends and all that shit. I'm trying to work on myself. If she changes in the future, I still don't see it happening. But still, I'm abstaining from the fun side because I'd rather have longevity, and I saw none in that situation. Absolutely none.
Yeah, that's deep. Because I wouldn't even say if she changes in the future that I still wouldn't fuck with her. Because when I say it, like, I don't see what could happen in the future, I actually mean that shit. Like, yeah, you know what? You never know. But right now, it does not look like it's happening.
Well, it's hard to it's hard to bank on somebody actually changing.
Yeah, I mean,
and not just coming back around with a front on.
It's to remain to be seen, but I'm not gonna wait around to see it. Like, if I see it, I see it.
No, he's saying even if he does, he does it.
And that's why I said
It's
it
a
was
foregone
deep, because
conclusion.
even if he
Yeah.
does happen to see it, he's like, still, I don't give a fuck.
Because it's hard to, if you have to say something, you don't know if that person really changed.
Yeah.
Like, if I be like, yo, Mike, I don't like the way you said this to me, and then he adjusts the way he says it, I don't know if he genuinely wants to adjust.
Oh, I mean, well, then
It's
that's
just
another scenario. But I'm talking
It's
about
the
if
same
somebody
thing, though.
genuinely shows that without even having to say something.
It's the same
Yeah.
thing. You don't know if they really changed or they just putting on the front because you said something. So it's like, the thought process is, I'm not even going to like
Well,
waste
for
time
one-
on it.
For one, the type of person I am, I'm not going to tell you certain specific things anyway, because I would believe that you would try to make these changes in order to manipulate. Anyway, that's just me.
That's what I just
being
said.
paranoid or whatever.
Yeah.
But when I said that, I would say something like, "Yo, like right now, it does not look like it's happening." I'm not going to tell you why, because of course you're going to try to change that because you want to get what you want to get. But I'm not gonna tell her them specific stuff at all. I'm just gonna be like, yo, like right now, it does not look like it's happening. But I don't know what the future holds, and I'm thinking that also in full detail to myself as to why. But of course, I'm not gonna tell them why.
I mean, I would. You gotta communicate.
No. I mean, yes, communicating, yes. But I'm not gonna give you a whole playbook of how to try to figure me out.
Oh,
Because exactly like you said, who knows if it's genuine or not?
Right. And that's what I'm saying about him. Like, that's why he decides not to deal with the person, because it's like there's plenty of people that you don't have to say nothing to. Like, people just
like people will give you red flags. It's just like, do you choose to ignore them or not?
yeah.
And that's how you get into the fun side. Because when you choose to ignore the red flags, that's when you like all you find interesting about them is like the visuals. Because
it is a negative with the longevity thing too.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people that's been in like long relationships that ain't happy
yeah,
because of the red flags.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's also why I say my answer was a bit of a hybrid answer, because that's not guaranteed either. Like, there's people literally in marriages that obviously don't need to be married, and sorry to say,
Yeah.
or just like, dog, like y'all really got to figure this out. Like, or do y'all even care to put the effort to figure this out? Because like your relationship is not looking great at all.
Right.
yeah. But I still just say it as like, bro, it's so many opportunities that people have to like see the person that they're with, and it still goes to like the common denominator. Like, are you really like paying attention to the red flags, or are you just ignoring them because you don't want to be alone? Which is a big issue in today's society. Is like people are so accepting of someone else mainly because they refuse to be alone. Like they're afraid of themselves.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that always end up in like the fun situations, because after the honeymoon phase is gone, that's it.
No, but that's on both sides though.
I mean, yes,
that's why I feel like that's evenly on both sides though.
Yeah, I would give it evenly for both. However, for the situations that I'm kind of referring to, it's more where like they don't know themselves enough to be fully committed. So longevity isn't really their main goal. It's more of like a byproduct of their own situation, like how they feel.
Yeah, but I say it's even because it's like if you're scared to be alone, that would keep you in a relationship, right? For the long haul, whether you happy or not.
Yeah, you just gotta be very aware of why you start certain starts.
Yeah. So it's like how when girls be saying they be going through stuff like domestic violence.
Yeah.
And they don't lead a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a prime example. That's why I feel like it's even on both sides. Like the longevity shit is tough in a sense.
Yeah, it is. Like a longevity is work. It always will be work.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I realize that a lot of people lack is the idea of like work. They don't want to work for a relationship to get off the ground. They don't want to work for a relationship to build into something better. They want it to be great from the beginning and great all the way through.
That's because of what they see.
Yeah, and
when people show their relationships, they don't show like the downsides and all the stuff that you go through. It's always like the highlights.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what everybody get to thinking. That's what the relationship supposed to be like.
Yeah. So I have another question. So I already know, Abe, you're pretty much just dead in the water at this point with this situation.
No, I wouldn't say dead in the
I
water.
ain't gonna, that's just not realistically, but you know, it's just
let the good times roll.
Shut up. But if it comes, matter of fact, I will add you in. Like in a situation like this, if you're in a serious relationship and the fun is kind of dying down, can you see yourself sticking it out because you care about the person, or do you leave because the fun is gone?
So to be completely transparent, my two biggest relationships, I stuck it out.
Okay.
But I should have left.
Mm-hmm.
Because from my experiences, everybody's experience may differ. Everything's not going to always be fun.
Yeah.
But, you know, my thought process is a little different.
Mm-hmm.
So I analyze things a little differently. When the fun starts to dwindle down, I seen in my situations, that's when things was changing. And that was like a precursor to the ship sinking.
Yeah.
But because I stuck it out, it's like now I wasn't pulling nothing from the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no frequent dates. Like there's barely sex. You know what I'm saying? And now it's just like it's arguments. We disagreeing about everything. oh, we need to break up. Okay, we getting back together. We need to break up. We getting back together. You know what I'm saying?
That phase would have been a precursor for me. That would have
Right.
That would have been the most definite for me.
But that's but what he was suggesting, yeah, I stuck it out through the tough times and then got left with nothing on 2 separate occasions.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't.
yeah, when the negative is more consistent,
Right.
and it's not like I said. You're not
So when the
reciprocating your
fun
energy,
times
nah, it's out.
dwindle down, I'm not saying like that's the end all be all, but that's a humongous red flag.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not and when people listening, I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to sway people to come to the fun side either.
Yeah. Of course not.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like you're just honest, which is one of your greatest features. But honest, like when I look at it this way, like if you really want to have like the real type of talk, you need somebody like Abe and shit. 'Cause like he will give you the God's honest truth, no matter how bad it hurts.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It gets uncomfortable sometimes.
But if you're a female, he might stick it out if you want to smash. So
I have uncomfortable conversations with females. I know how to have uncomfortable conversations without, certain niggas just go completely off the rails.
cool.
I wasn't gonna say no names, but
Hey, that's my nigga, bro.
I know how to have like, cause I feel like in order to grow, sometimes it gets uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like if everything is going smoothly and perfect, or we like walking on eggshells around each other. If Mark has a problem with me and he's not saying it, what's gonna happen? He's keeping it to himself. One day he's gonna explode and say it any fucking way.
Yeah.
Shit just gonna blow up.
Yeah. So
And on top of that, what's probably gonna be even worse is I'm gonna try and make it seem like it's his fault.
if I'm doing something, why not just come out and be like, yo, you kind of did this. I felt like you was doing this. I don't know if that's your intention.
Yeah.
But going forward, that's just affecting my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense for real.
Yeah.
And so, Mark, how would you feel in that exact same situation? Would you be able to stick it out? Or would you just give it, just give up completely?
And explain the situation to me again.
So, situation is like the quote unquote fun is actually beginning to dwindle or die down, and all that's left is just the portion of the longevity that you're trying to build. Think of it this way: you can't have sex with your wife or some shit like that because you have to consistently watch the kids, or you're working all the time, so y'all can't communicate the same way I used to. Stuff like that. That's what I'm getting at. Like, would you be able to live in a situation where it's not going to be hunky dory all the time, or would you just, you know what, I think I'm cool, and I think we should go our separate ways?
My response is just the same thing that I was responding when Abe was talking.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally depending on what the consistency of that looks like, because obviously everything is not going to be peaches and cream,
Of course.
but it's like the matter of how you and your partner work that shit out.
Mm-hmm.
And discuss that, communicate that, and what it is that you can do about it. And every attempt is not going to be big, and it doesn't have to be. As long as some attempts are some attempts, shit, man, you can go ahead, throw a penny in the well every now and then, and eventually that shit will add up.
Mm-hmm.
So it literally all depends on the consistency of making things better. But if you got a tidal wave against the splash, and the tidal wave is the negativity, and obviously things are just continuously growing worse, chances is you need to get out of that.
Okay.
Now, of course, there's going to be some things that's going to make you stick it out a little bit longer, and I don't want to call them complications, but let's call a spade, certain complications such as marriage, because of legal matters, and or children. That does complicate things a little bit, because you can't just jump out of those things. But if the song is cheaper to keep her, there's certain
well, that I understand, but
so
it's
there's that. But now if it's really just y'all two, and there's really less to sacrifice other than you know, what I just said before,
Mm-hmm.
of course, then there's some other things to talk about. Now, of course, marriage is, like I said, is more sticky.
Mhm.
Now, if it's a relationship, like literally like a committed relationship, or maybe even engagement, it's simpler to walk away from because there was nothing else put on top of it. There was no legal ties to that. That's literally what's like holding y'all, binding y'all together is legal matters for one. The very moment you signed that paper. But if it's like a relationship and you're like, you know what, this is not really working out.
Mhm.
I prefer that we could either be this way, and if we can't even do that well enough and like have the chemistry well enough as like being cordial, then we're just gonna have to shut each other off. Period. Because it's literally just a matter of having the healthier aspect at this point. Oh, and sometimes it even depends on what people consider as healthy. Because some people be like, "Dog, you're healthy." It's really not healthy. But again, that's just a matter of the chemistry of the two components, which is you and her. So if it works, it works. If you go figure that out, then that's great. But if not, and you find that you're not going to be compatible, and you're like, yo, I can foresee it right now, like this is going to continue to grow into a big problem, you want to try to, I don't want to say necessarily you want to get out of it before it gets worse, because some people will be like, yo, it just got worse yesterday, and that's our first bad day. I'm out of it.
Okay.
But you know, I'm talking about like serious joints, like dog, like it's unhealthy, like yelling at each other's faces and shit like that. Shit's being smashed over, whatever that storm gonna look like. Then that's when you need to get out of that.
Mm-hmm. Like, so what I really was getting at, I wasn't necessarily saying like it's going to turn into like a toxic situation, more like a whole bunch of like problems and stuff like that. It was just like one thing is dying down over the other.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that it's necessarily just going to be turmoil within that relationship. It's just things aren't what they were beforehand with the level of one thing over the other.
Things change over time, but I do feel like you got control over of what occurs in your life.
Mhm.
You can still have fun. It's literally up to you to create that, you and your partner.
Yeah.
It's not impossible to introduce that again over time.
Yeah.
Right.
So like I actually did. I talked like I wanted to give reference and shit.
Mhm.
So I talked to a female friend of mine. Both of y'all know exactly who I'm talking about. The fans don't. So I was talking to her, right? And I asked her this question, and she was like incredibly honest about it. And she said like in a situation like that, she actually kind of gave me the same answer that you did, Mark. Like she was like, you know what? We can pretty much schedule times where we'll have like such and such going on so that we can like get around the kids need to be here and I have to work here and stuff like that. So it's all about the communication and being willing to work it out. Because what I've learned is that a lot of people, when it comes to longevity, they say that they want longevity, but as soon as things get like kind of like as soon as the things start to die down in one area, they panic and then leave.
Right.
So this is where this entire thing was going. It was just, are you willing to stick it out given the situation? Like the idea of like fun versus like the longevity thing, it was just a shtick.
Okay.
I just wanted to see exactly how people will react to the idea of being in a long-term relationship, and can they be able to stick it out based on like one thing being more impactful in their lives than the other. And I didn't let anybody, like I didn't let her know until afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And like same thing, I'm doing the same thing with y'all. Like that was the whole goal, is just to figure that out. When it comes to relationships, are you willing to sacrifice one thing over the other in order to maintain it?
Yeah.
And
I mean, when I was in my relationships, I sacrificed like everything.
yeah, which
You
is
know
which
what
I
I'm saying?
know exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's your thing. Like I respect you heavily for that, because regardless of like how you are now, I know in your relationships, like you are the exact opposite.
Yeah. It's just that while you're not in them, just have fun.
Exactly. So I'm cool with that. And like you're so like honest about the situation. It's just like you can't really deny that. Like, if anyone was to ever get into a serious relationship with you, they will have to accept you for who you are and what you bring to the table as far as like your past and your personality.
Yeah.
Same thing with Mark. Like, they have to get over the fact, like, hey, he might not be such and such, but he's always going to be this guy, and maybe I want him for that. And as far as like building something forward, I think he'll be more than willing to stick it out with me if he sees somewhat of a problem.
Right.
So, kudos to the both of you guys. You passed the test. Even though I gave no clear answer on any of it, which was my goal from the get go and shit. I like to be somewhat cryptic with a lot of my stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, bro. You should have like been because it was a quite graphic conversation. But the conversation we was having and shit, it was more of a idea of like how things would like kind of progress into how do I put it? Like, how do you go from one spot to the next when it comes to like going from no sex here or quote unquote no like love life almost, so to speak, into building into something that actually is conducive to a more stable environment. So it was like, well, like I said before, schedule certain times where this works or do such and such. And at this point in time, like it was a whole lot that went into it, but it makes a lot of sense. It's all about the idea of communication. And like you said, like we talk about this all the time. Like there's so many people that refuse to communicate, and then that becomes the downfall of their relationship.
Yeah, it's even like friendships and shit like that.
That too.
You know, it's just like you gotta constantly work on it, because if you're not, it's gonna die.
Yeah.
Something like, it's only two things in life: you either growing or you're not.
Yeah.
If it ain't growing, it's dying.
Yeah.
If you got a plant, if you ain't watering the plant, he dying.
And it's going to die eventually anyway.
He might still look good right. He might still look good today. You keep not watering them. Check on them next week.
About to be dry.
right. Like it's like you said earlier, people just, they skip out on the hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that's what you get.
Yeah, bro. I try my best to at least give some level of like communication when it comes to like the work involved in something, bro. I'm more than willing to put up with like a certain level of like inconvenience. And I figure that like at this point, at this age, like we've become far too like, how I put it, like we just become far too resourceful to just get into situations like this and not find a way out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that goes to show like we kind of like developed somewhat of like a leadership role, which does make a heck of a lot of sense based on the current climate of relationships, and that's what they want out of men. I mean, but technically that was the idea from the get-go. But I digress. Mm-hmm. That always made like more sense is to like you always gotta be as much resourceful as you are like just loving.
Facts.
Because you can have all of these ideas of how much you want to do for a person and all that shit, but then you got to realize that it's not always going to be that. So you got to figure out, what are my workarounds? If this goes wrong here, how am I going to get it back to this phase? How am I going to get this back to this phase? Like a relationship, a long and stable relationship is like a chess match.
Right.
And in order for you to win, like you have to know your next move. Like if you don't know what your next move is gonna be,
shit, playing for the next 2-3 moves.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because I definitely plan my life out at least like 6 or 7 moves ahead, bro. I got backup plans for days, but who's to say like that will always work? So you just got to figure out how to work on the fly.
Exactly.
Just like Black A was talking about on the last one, like my man's freestyle artist.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you got to figure out how to do that shit on the fly. Cause like we said, like not everything is going to be like it can't be planned out all the time.
Yeah, a lot of shit. Mostly everything go wrong.
Yeah.
Unplanned shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it is what it is.
So, Murray, how you feel? My man over there, just chilling like a mother. You see how my man
getting sleepy. I see.
Yeah, look at-
yeah.
Feeling that downtime.
my man
Yeah.
whole time.
Oh shit, y'all don't like your motherfucker over here, bro.
Hey yo, it's okay, bro.
Yeah, man,
But how-
it's them early days.
But man, how resourceful do you think you'd be in a relationship, bro?
I still definitely feel like I got a lot to learn and a lot to pick up on, but as of yet, I actually have learned a lot too because I've been through a lot. I've been definitely through the downs and definitely had some ups as well. But because of that, I feel like I've been, battle hardened for some things and to be able to stick out through some things and also communicate some things and stand toes down for certain stuff to be able to address certain stuff, and then it does work out in some cases. But really it depends on the matter of resolve and commitment between the people to really make it through.
Okay, understandable. Man has that quite transparent there. At least my man is like more than willing to state that. Hey, I don't know it all. For like the first time ever. It's like, no, he stop. He stop, bro. Still love you though, man. Still love you. Even though my man just be all over the place sometimes and shit. But the whole time, man, I definitely respect y'all opinions and shit. And it made a heck of a lot of sense from both perspectives. And like I said before, like y'all niggas, y'all passed the test even though I wasn't 100% transparent on what the hell the test was. But this has been another Breaking the Narrative podcast, BTN for short. I'm Tony.
Teddy.
And I'm Mark Anthony.
And we out of here.